Welcome to episode 17. Today's guests have travelled down from Islington, North London. They've got a beautiful kitchen and bathroom showroom, and they're going to tell us how they met. We're going to learn about their passions for food, their passions for beer, and how they are making a massive difference to luxury living in the London market. This is a great episode for everyone in design, lifestyle and KBB. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners of the podcast, welcome. And can you believe this? Welcome to episode 17. The clock is ticking, Charlie. We're near the exit plan of season 7. We have got a fantastic podcast for you today. We are joined not by two. Boys and girls, this is exciting. We are joined by 3 special guests, and one of them is under the studio table. So that may give you some clues. In today's episode, we're going to be inspiring our stars of the future, and we're back into the world of KBB. But this time, we're at the high end of KBB. We're in luxury living. I am joined in the studio by Piotr Wojciechowski and Inga Kopala of the beautiful Amberth Kitchen and Bathrooms. Their studio's in Islington. They're on the North London Hertfordshire borders, and what's embarrassing for me, Charlie, they got here before me and I'm 10 minutes away. There you go. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? It's been great to catch up with you beforehand.
Thank you for having us.
You're good. Hello. All right, so we have to tell people, Charlie, we've got a bit of a special guest under the table, haven't we? We have got a special guest under the table. We have got the beautiful Milo. He's how old is he? 5?
5.5.
He's a 5.5-month-old border collie. He's black and white. He's better behaved than my dog Snoop. That's what I would say, because I don't think Charlie Hooler would let Snoop Dogg into the studio, would you, mate? First dog to make, not the first dog on the podcast, because Snoop and Heidi have featured in the podcast, but they've only been in episodes we've recorded in our own offices.
Oh,
Milo is proudly the first dog in the studio at the Foy & Jones show. And also, Inga, how popular was he downstairs in the coffee shop?
Oh my God, he was very popular.
I've never had so many people smile at me and be nice to me, Charlie.
You get a lot of love if you have a dog in the Plus X space, but Milo's been a real special occasion today.
They used to have a dog hall of fame up down by the lifts, and they had all the dogs up there. And when Jodie spoke to me yesterday and said Inga and Piotr, they want to bring the dog down, I'm like, what a great idea, bring the dog down. And the fact you're going to take him along the seaside for a walk afterwards, what a fantastic day. But thanks for coming down. So during the episode, we're going to really get to know you guys and the Amberth story. That's what I want to bring to life, because it's captivated me, it's captivated my business, and it's just going to be really great to bring that to life. If Milo wants to get involved, he can get involved. Give him a treat, get him up on the microphone, we don't mind. We're going to really then talk about the London market and what it looks like for you guys at the moment, from a project and installation perspective, from a design perspective, and where we are as an economy at the moment that's impacting every single person from a personal basis, from a business basis. So we'll talk about that as well. After the break, we're going to talk about where it all began and advice that you guys would give to yourselves starting your career, advice you give to yourself for the medium and long-term futures. And we'll wrap the show up by sending some positive messages about what you and the Amberth are looking to achieve in the medium and long-term future. Sound good?
That sounds perfect.
Sounds good. Okay, so I don't know if you want to do this, Inga, or if you want to do this, but, let look into the camera, talk to the microphone. Imagine the listeners don't know you like we do. Just take a few moments just to tell us who you are and a bit of a history of the Amberth business.
Oh, it started with Piotr, so I will give him the
Okay, so
voice.
over to you, Piotr.
So, how did we start it? So I've been working in construction industry since I came to UK, which was about 23 years ago, as a plumber. Then we've opened small business with my brother, mainly installation kitchens and bathrooms for architects and interior designers. And then at one point we thought maybe we will take the business to another level, and we will supply kitchens for our clients and architects. So we find company in Poland, kitchen manufacturer company, and start promoting our business to our clients and architects. But then at some point my brother decided that he want to go back to Poland.
Yes, moving back home.
Yeah. So I've asked Inga if she would like to join the business.
Yes, and that was very exciting because I was in another role. I was
here
doing
in the UK?
Yes.
You was?
We actually met here in UK.
Did you meet in the UK?
Yes.
I was going to ask whether it was a love in Poland that came to the UK, or whether it was a love that met at Poland. So you've already answered that question. But can I ask a question? When you arrived in the UK, was you fluent in English? Did you speak English? Because you speak it very well now.
I was hardly speaking any word.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the I think as you know, as Charlie, being based in Britain, we're very bad at languages. I can. My eldest son will say I can't because he's fluent, but I can speak Spanish. I have my own take on it, but I can take Spanish. But I think it's something which amazes me that people have got the courage to arrive in a country, learn a language to a professional level. And I applaud it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So you met here. This is good. This is exciting.
Well, actually, we met on the building site.
Okay. All right.
Even better.
Yeah.
So
what was you doing on the building site? Was you bricklaying or?
I was painter and decorator
Fantastic.
while I was doing my MA.
Really?
Yes. So I arrived in 1999 and just for 3 months doing my, student's break and kind of started working in a coffee shop in Trafalgar Square, which I didn't really enjoy much.
I can imagine that was a quiet gig, wasn't it? A coffee shop in Trafalgar Square.
But then before I left, my father joined me and we met other people who arrived to the UK at the same time and found a job on the building site. And that's how I met Chris Brown, who became a very good friend of ours, and we at some point set up a business together. But my father joined me, and then I went back home to continue my MA degree. And continuously was on the phone because he didn't speak any English. He spoke a little bit of German, so the communication was difficult because between him and his boss. And so I was communicating and translating from Poland. And then at some point my father said, do you want to come back? And I must say, I got really hooked on London.
Yeah,
I loved
London
it.
thing, it got you.
So I was like, yes, well, I can't really come back because I have to finish my degree. And he said, well, shall we think about it? As soon as he said that, I went and started looking for universities. And yes, I moved to London in February 2000 and started my MA in September. So yes, and so I did my MA in the UK.
Where did you do it?
In North London University,
University
which now it's a metropolitan.
Yeah. And there's that connection with Central London, there's that connection with North London that stayed with you into now.
Yes.
For the benefits of people that can't see us can't see this behind the camera, Milo has got a new best friend. Milo the collie is now in with Charlie.
Milo's going to join my band, guys.
Well, he's got a little bit of voice, I must say. He loves his treats. Yes.
So does Charlie. Yeah, Charlie loves his treats as well, Inga, and we're not editing that part out, Charlie. We're not editing that part out. So Inga, I've got. I don't want to dwell on this too long because it's much more about the here and now. But I've got to talk about you as a painting and decorator because you've never shared that with me before. You've never shared that with me.
So while
did you have your own van?
No.
Okay.
It was only casual work. So while I was doing my MA, I was doing lots of different jobs, including bartending, cleaning, which is pretty. And then as my father joined the team of the builders, I was also helping with painting and decorating on site, and that's where I met Piotr. who
There
was
you
the
go.
plumber.
There you go.
And working for the plumbing business.
And that was the beginning of the relationship, I imagine.
So we've been married almost as long as we've been running a business together. Yes. 21 years.
Yeah, my wife reminded me that we've been together 28 years and married 22. So it's there, and your children are 20 and 18, aren't they?
Yes.
So my boys are 24 and Henry's turning 21 next week. So what again? And this is something that I think so many listeners will because I have lots of listeners that are entrepreneurs that have their own businesses, and yet we've got lots of people in the corporate world as well. But I think having a family, having a young family, having a business, they are challenging times. I launched Foyne Jones, as everyone knows the story. The concept was born in 2003, but we didn't start trading until January 2004. And I had two very young children then. I had Henry, who was not two, he was 1 3/4, and Harry, who was 3. And it's I just really I know how big a deal it was for us. So you've your parents, you've got a family, and you've got a fantastic business. So let's dwell onto the Amber story and see where that began. So you've come together. Take us to the next stage. I love stories like this.
So as Piotr mentioned, he was running the business with Tommy, his brother, and Tommy at some point decided to take his young family back home. And that's when he asked me to join him. And I must say it was very exciting. I was really enthusiastic about it and kind of wanted to do it. My father used to own a joinery workshop before he arrived to the UK, and that's what I was. So I was always very much hands-on with kind of crafting and working with wood. And my mum had some shops with the artistic ceramics and glass.
Okay.
So it's been always around interiors and homes and I like beautiful interiors and I enjoy it, and I know how important they are for people's well-being. So so it was a privilege for me to join.
Fantastic.
I don't know if he realised what he gets himself
You didn't know what
into.
you didn't get yourself into, mate, did you? It's. I mean, that's. But I think it's it's amazing that you can work together. You can because you are doing something really special when you're talking about the kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom. They're probably the 3 most important rooms in anyone's home, and when you look at what they can become, you can actually. And regardless of budget, and I know you're in a very high-end market, but regardless of budget, you're able to turn someone's dream into reality.
Yes.
And that's life-changing for them, isn't it? That's life-changing. So there must be a real sense of satisfaction from that.
I think you're very much right. People don't realise how much home kind of creates and impacts the well-being and the life and everything else, and how it's all going because of that. If you kind of go into your kitchen and you really start your day with having a really nice cup of coffee, and you can enjoy making it and relax from the early morning and go and have your morning shower and get yourself ready and for the day in a nice environment, I think it sets you off, and it's kind of and it makes people proud of themselves, and when they go out into the world, they kind of project it and they show that to everyone else, and I think that's quite important. I think many people realised that over the COVID.
Yeah. I mean, the pandemic changed everything, didn't it? And lots of guests on this show who are businesses of all different shapes and sizes rode the wave of the pandemic. So and it was horrific loss of life. But when you look at the realisation that a better garden gives me a space which I can actually relax and exercise in. if I have I can turn it into a workspace, or and lots of things changed during the pandemic, didn't it? Everyone recognised work-life balance much more than ever before.
Yes.
Do I need to commute on 3 trains, 2 buses, and a cycle when I can actually work quite effectively from home? It was brilliant for us because we as you guys know, we use video technology. So actually, one of the big challenges we had in 2017, 18 and 19, when we really got it going in 2017, but back then it was, have you ever used Skype? Have you ever used FaceTime? Do you know what a video call is? And the world woke up to that during the pandemic. I think from a KBB and design perspective, you've got such a message and so much creativity. But what I notice and what I know about your business is that it is, it's very high end. It's truly bespoke, and that positions you different to many others. And the showroom's Essex Road, Islington, isn't it? So
yes, it is.
That's not a bad postcode to be in terms of where you are. How long have you been there?
14 years.
14 years,
yes.
Yeah. So where was the first showroom?
No, that's our first.
That is the first showroom,
that is
yes?
the first
Okay.
and the last. Well, at the moment, it is first. That was another next step for us. So
you went from doing the projects to having the actual showroom. Okay.
We kind of, as soon as I joined, so I joined in 2006. And after a year almost, we've realised that if we wanted to move it forward and we want to progress and grow the business, a showroom would be a really good step for us. It would be somewhere where we could present the product, where we could meet the clients comfortably, make them feel welcome and have a conversation with them. And that's us, we felt like at home in Islington, because that was our first base, and that's where we were living at the time. It was a natural kind of choice for us. And we've been there since. I must say we are a little bit long-distance people, so we're kind of quite loyal to the locations and people who we work with. So it's been a good run. And we actually got a new lease extended in 2021 in January, just before the pandemic kicked in and the lockdown. Yeah. So it was like, okay.
Yeah, thanks. I mean that's and we've seen some businesses during the pandemic didn't just survive; they thrived and they grew. And sadly, other businesses have been affected. And I think what your offer is, because we spoke about it earlier, and I think this is something we can talk about. I know you pride yourself on attention to detail. The small things really matter for you guys, and that comes through in almost every conversation and every interaction I've seen you have. But the other element, and I'd love you to sort of just bring it to life for the listeners, is that it is a complete full service, isn't it? It's all the way through, from design, all aspects of installation, almost to me turning on my coffee machine and getting my coffee that morning. You're with the client all the way, aren't you?
Yes. So Piotr, that was always your dream.
So that was the idea, that we provide a service from the design through supply and installation. Yeah. So the whole product will be supplied by us and installed.
And yes, I think what we wanted to make sure that we offer a stress-free and service where client actually can relax at the point where many more other companies ask them to get much more involved. Yeah. So, because what we didn't mention, that when Tommy went back home after couple months, to be honest, he realised he really enjoyed working with the furniture. Yeah. So he set up his own joinery workshop. So at that time, we became a fully family-owned with full independence in terms of...
It's like you've got the best of both worlds in a way, haven't you? You've got, and where you guys have fallen in love, and you've also fallen in love with the Islington postcode and the London lifestyle. Again, it's not for everyone. I grew up in West London. I grew up in Fulham, South West 6. And I love going back there because it's like going home. But I tell you what, there's sometimes I'm there and I'm like, I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to get back to Sussex.
Yes.
I want to see the sea, and I'm blessed in a way where I can see the sea from my back window, or from the way the doors open and the garden. Where I'm 2-3 minutes from the sea, but there is still something about Southwest London and West London for me, because it's always going to be home. It's where I grew up. It's where my football team are. But I think that if we go on to the impact you're having, you're working on some amazing projects, Piotr, at the moment, aren't you? With some amazing clients as well. Because I've seen the projects you're putting together. They're breathtaking. They're breathtaking.
Thank you.
Is it tough, winning that work? Because you've got my experience of people that have got high net worth, or they've got the type of budgets they would need to have to turn these projects around. They can be quite demanding as well. How's that side of the business?
Most of our clients at the moment are people who own a property in London, but that will be the second property. So they would be living abroad or somewhere outside London. So they're looking for companies who do that sort of bespoke service, design, supply, project management, installation. So
when they arrive at their second or third property, everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's got the wow factor.
And it's stress-free as well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if I could sum that up, and I'm not your marketing company, but if I could sum that up, it's almost like you're taking all of the pain away.
Yes, we do.
You're taking all of the pain. You're taking all of the pain away. So, as you can see, the dog sitter sent me a message there. So, the ladies and gentlemen, the dog sitter's Charlie Hula.
I've had a promotion, guys.
He's a singer, a songwriter, a producer, a videographer, and a dog sitter. And now a dog sitter. So, Piotr, thank you so much for sharing the journey of where it began. I can't believe you were a painter and decorator. That's absolutely brilliant. What we're going to talk about after the break is we are going to give some advice to the industry stars of the future, because you've built something really special. So there's things you've learned on that way. And we're going to talk about, potential collaborations for other studios and businesses with companies like you, i.e. you, because you can perhaps bolt something onto their offer which they're not doing at the moment. But before we do that, we're not going to talk about football, Charlie. We're going to talk about two of their biggest passions. We're going to talk about things that are quite close to my heart as well, food and beer. So we will see you after the break. Thanks for listening. Milo, my turn.
Life-changing recruitment for the KBB, builders merchant and construction industries, creative social content, specialist knowledge, world-leading video technology, helping you find career happiness and helping your business attract its stars of the future. We are Foyne Jones. This is what we do.
In this part of the show, we're not talking about football. We are going to talk about your love of food and your love of beer. Yeah. So these are two things very close to my heart. Who wants to go first? Should we start with food or should we start with beer?
Well, both is Piotr.
Okay, so Piotr, it's on you, sir.
I'm only the tasting
like
part and cleaning.
And also I do a bit of home brewing.
I know me and Charlie got very excited about the home brewing before.
And that was the COVID.
COVID.
As many people, it's the COVID passion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I always thought about it, but never had time to set up my little home brewery, which I did during the COVID. So slowly kind of rebuilding, constantly changing things. So I end up having like a small professional home brewery where I've got a proper control system.
Would you say it's a microbrewery yet?
I would say
so, yeah.
I can only do 20 liters batch at the moment, so it's still home brewery.
Okay.
But the process is very similar to microbrewery.
I mean, a microbrewery a new good microbrewery setting up in trendy Islington, or it wouldn't be unheard of, would it? For something like
as a
that.
part of the kitchen and bathroom studio, you never know.
I don't know whether the best way it work, but I'm going to ask a question about your passion for food and your passion for cooking. If you look at where you are now with those interests, when you're working on your designs and when you're working on your projects, does that play a part because you're thinking of how I would cook, what I would prepare?
It does, yeah. So
because that must have a real impact on it.
Yeah. So when we design, we always look into design has a practicality.
Yeah.
So I always imagine how I would feel in that space.
We're just passing Milo around the studio at the moment, listeners. He's just he's obviously got bored of me.
Sniffing around.
He got bored of me. It was because I made them 3 mistakes, Charlie. He's like, I will not associate with anyone this amateur. He's gone straight to the professional. No, he's back.
No, he's back to you.
He's back. That's all right. There we go.
And we're passing the treats.
Yeah, we're past the treats. We're past the treats. Yeah, Charlie.
Yes, I think because we come more. So Piotr comes from the construction industry, and I also bring the design as well as installation and the business management. And I think it's been always functionality. It's been always a key. So it's the design that we are very passionate about. But to be honest, what I say to the clients and to everyone who asks us about a business is that for us, the best feeling is if I hear the clients, I love going into my kitchen every morning, but I love it even more when I start making myself coffee or cooking for my family. And, we had a story of client coming when it was the first tailor-made, fully bespoke kitchen that they went for in the new house. And then she called me almost in tears and said, you can't believe what happened. My 11 and 10-year-old daughter and son just brought me the breakfast because they can't get out of the kitchen. They love the kitchen so much. Yeah. And it's so easy for them. They know everything, where everything is. It's designed around the family and the lifestyle, and I think that's the most
that's
important.
An example of what we spoke about before the break when I say the work you're doing is actually transforming someone's life.
Yes, it does.
And I think that's so powerful to be able to do that. Yeah. And did you have a speciality dish that you enjoy cooking?
I quite like sous vide cooking. I don't know if you ever heard about sous vide.
I don't.
No,
I don't.
So it's
like a slow cook.
Slow cooking
so it's the one
in water bath. So basically, I think the best thing is a leg of lamb sous vide, which is cooked 24 hours within the sous vide and then finished in the oven.
What wine would you pair it with?
Wine. Oh,
would you pair it with wine? Would you?
A bottle of beer.
I'm beer specialist.
I'm a micro brewer. I'm a beer specialist.
So I would have like a brown IPA.
Yeah. He's in your gang, Charlie. Yeah.
We like wine, but I must say we're not that good with wine. However, I've just signed up for the wine mastery class.
Have you?
Yes. It's maybe my kind of another thing to bring to the table.
It's amazing what happens. One of our last guests, Daniel Humphrey, such a great guy, and he wanted to get his dad Father's Day or Christmas present, and it was a bottle of whiskey, and he's ended up starting Somerton Whiskey Club.
Yes.
And I started as it actually got. I think my wife got it for me as a present, and I just thought this is great. And next thing, he's been on the show, and I think that if you follow your passions and you follow your dreams, it can be in high-end bathroom design, high-end kitchen design. It can be actually, I like watching my football team, but actually, hearing someone that's, it's the lamb sounds good. You know, the lamb
It is good.
the lamb sounds good. You know what I like, Charlie, as well? I like the confidence. It is good. It is good.
Yeah,
I mean,
is good.
I mean, I'm a bit nervous. You're going to a highly recommended beachside restaurant in Hove after the show, and I think the chefs have got to they've got to pull their A game out. They've got to pull their A game out. But it's amazing though, isn't it? When you talk about passions outside of work and being business owners, being a family. What you do, and I say this to Paul Crowe a lot with the Ripples brand, is that, you know, this isn't a business for you guys. It's like a lifestyle, isn't it? It's everything you're about, and I think that in a way, Inga, it leads us on to the next part, because you guys are naturally passionate. You know, you're naturally engaging. You care. When we're talking about people beginning their career, and whether they're going to come and work for me, whether they're going to come work for Charlie, whether they're going to come work for you, you're looking for key traits and key behaviours and key areas that stand them out. If you go back to your younger self and you think of the steps you went in on your journey, you know, you've told us that you arrived in the UK, you worked in a coffee shop in Trafalgar Square, you know, and you got through that and you were on site, you know, with your paintbrush and you know, I mean, I'm still going back to that. It's still got me. You know, and now you're working on, you know, multi-million-pound properties, and you're doing high bespoke. There has to be personality traits and behaviours and passions that stand out. So for someone that's looking to succeed in your industries right now, respectively, whether that's site and installation, whether it's design and showroom, what qualities do you think would separate the star performers from the ones that, you know, just don't quite make the magic happen?
Well, to me, I think it's always attitude towards learning. You can have skills. Well, they always say the talent is only 20% and 80% is hard work and persistence and passion for it. But at the same time, I think if you always tune to learn and develop, and you kind of following in the intelligent way people will and hear and listen, I think definitely people will success in any field. It doesn't matter of the industry. Is it kitchen and bathrooms? Because I mainly manage the business overall and the design studio. Piotr manages the sites and projects and takes them through the installation process. But whenever we've got a conversation and we get someone new to the team, it's like, well, they really, really interested. They want to know. They ask questions. And we always say there is no silly questions. Always ask. Because we don't know what people don't know. And they don't know what they don't know. So I think it's rather to ask than try to come up with the answer and try to open the open door.
Yeah, and if we look at, you know, and either of you can answer this, but I think it's a great way just to give some inspiration to the next generation. Is there, you know, I'm going to try and push you for 3 pieces of advice you would give for someone who's beginning their journey. So, what advice would you share for people for our stars of the future? That's the theme of the show. So, what 3 pieces of advice would you give for our stars of the future?
So it's 3 pieces or 3 words?
3 words, up to you. I mean, you could twist it any way you want.
So we've got 9 words.
Okay.
I mean, I would say move to London because that's where the opportunity are.
Be brave, you had.
Yeah.
Be brave. That's good.
I think it was be brave. Attitude towards learning for me, and I think it was just grab the opportunities. Yeah,
I thought he was going to say brown IPA.
Yeah,
that's the way through. So no,
find a good partner.
I mean, if find a good partner, have fun, drink good beer, and eat good lamb. But actually, I think something what you said there actually would resonate with anyone listening, and they can be within luxury living. They can be anywhere. if you work hard and if you have the right attitude and if you're courageous, brave, and you dream big, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can have a future not just in your industry, in my industry, and what Charlie does. You know, Charlie's in music, videography, production.
And I think big dreams are the size of the big for me may not be big for someone else, but it's big for me. And
for
it
others,
just
for others who look at what you guys have achieved, and they'll go, "Wow, they're huge," and you know, that's amazing. But everything starts somewhere. And something I said, I was talking to on the visits I'm doing with some interview training. I was saying that one of the things that we have to encourage people is not to be afraid to make mistakes.
No, exactly.
I had a mentor very early on in my career and in the corporate world before I set the business up, and he said, the one thing that I love about you is that, you know, you're not afraid to say sorry.
No.
You know, you will try stuff, and you do get a few things wrong, Peter. I'm like, do I? I'm like, yeah. Trying something, getting it wrong, getting uncomfortable, that really, really makes a difference.
Yes.
So thank you so much, right? Well, I mean, you won't believe this because I know you guys, it's the first sort of podcast studio experience. We're actually getting near the end of the show. We've been chatting for almost an hour. Can you believe that?
Went so quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
I mean, Milo's having a great time with Charlie again. Milo jogged me on after I fluffed my lines 3 times. He's like, I'm not sitting under your desk anymore, Peter. But I know that there's something that we really should talk about, and I think it's a positive message to end the podcast on. We spoke about the real bespoke product that you are offering, the bespoke solution, the real high end. And I think, and I'd love you to bring this to life, but we spoke about the potential of future collaboration. So let's end the show with that, because that could be quite inspirational for our listeners to think that they could add something special to what they're doing at the moment. So Inga, no pressure, but I'm going to let you finish things off if that's okay.
Well, what we wanted to do as the next step, and what we are looking, we built something from scratch. We kind of developed a business, and we've learned as we went along. And there is many people who actually are looking to set up their own business, but it could be scary, it could be quite difficult, and thinking there is a vast amount of product and choice. And we would like to offer our knowledge and expertise and share it with people and help them to set up their own businesses if they want us to help them with. But also there is many showrooms, independent showrooms, that are already working with suppliers. And what they find, they often limit them to a certain extent when it comes to the bespoke design. So many of them is made to order, made to measure, but they're not truly bespoke, that everything can be itemized and can be developed in a very unique way. And that's where we would like to help and start collaboration with studios which actually want to add a special product to their offering, to the clients who are actually looking for something quite unique and individual, and help their clients to make their space just unique and their own.
And I think if I was, you know, owning a studio or thinking of owning a studio, to be able to have you two from an installation and project management perspective and design and business management perspective as mentors or someone to go into partnership with, that's like giving me a head start. It's like a business hack and a life hack and a design hack and a project management hack. So I think that's a message that personally I would encourage you to start sharing. And if anyone listening to the episode, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, whether it's just one of the clips on LinkedIn and they want to find out more, we'll certainly steer all that into your direction. But that, sadly, is the end of today's podcast. But I've got to say, we do things with a bit of panache and a bit of swagger here. We've invited a 5-month-old colleague called Milo into the studio, who's not been anywhere near disruptive as some of our previous guests, I have to say. I'm not mentioning no names, Nick Boyle. You know, that Milo's been brilliantly behaved. It's been fascinating to hear how you met, what you've built and what you've achieved, and also what you offer the luxury living market and KBB from Islington outwards, because Islington's always going to be the heart, isn't it? I could just see that, you know.
North London forever.
Old Street, Essex Road, you know, Highbury Fields. That's where you guys hang out. So,
Yes.
And there's some wonderful places there. Inga, Piotr, thank you so much for coming down today. Sadly, but for personal reasons, I can't be with you after the show. But I'm going to make sure you go to the best place possible in Hove, and you take this little fella for a beautiful walk up and down the seaside in Brighton. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. Thank you to every one of our listeners. Without you, we don't have a show. And big shout out to Marcel from MHK Holding UK, because it's your support that makes this podcast possible. We will see you next week for episode 18. Toodle pip. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as I said, that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out next week's episode, as we will keep inspiring our stars of the future.